I've been into crystals and astrology all of my life, some might say. And when I started to jump into this being my profession and would tell people that I'm in the world of energy healing and spirituality and psychic arts, people inevitably would say to me, "Oh, I'm really into that stuff." And the tongue in cheek of it got to be so funny to me that I thought, I think I'll start a podcast called that. And that's what I did. And for years, I had the gift of being able to interview wonderful and interesting friends of mine who are in the world of woo, who love to talk about all of the things. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I really wasn't talking about me. And for somebody with such a big mouth, it was a bit ridiculous. I was lovingly avoiding talking about my own story and the things that had happened in my life so that I could divert from the pain of what being just Jana felt like. And after a year and a half, almost two hiatus, I realized that in order for me to come back to this show, I needed to do two things. Firstly, I needed to share my story with you. So I'm going to do that today. And the other thing I needed to do was share my gift, share the things that I tap into and the things that make my gift activated in the world. Because what I often say is, what I do is not special. I am very special, but what I do is not. So I'm going to take it back and share my story with you and tell you some of the things that got me into that stuff and led me to a life where I get to read people for a living, tap in with the energetic realms, with the spirit realms, and with the world around me to just open my mouth and speak for a living in a way that is such a beautiful, gracious gift that I never, ever, ever run out of gratitude for. And gratitude is kind of how I got here. My life didn't start out with a lot of gratitude. It started with a lot of pain. As a child, my grandfather and my great grandfather on my father's side were crystal collectors. And if you're watching this on YouTube, plenty of the crystals behind me come from them. But there was chaos that came with the beauty, and the chaos was called schizophrenia. My grandmother has charts, astrology charts from the 1970s of my grandfather and herself and my father. And she was always, my whole life, somebody who tracked the moon, as our religion always has, and somebody who had a deep understanding of what it means to show up and incarnate in a body. She is exceptionally psychic and exceptionally gifted. And with her gift and the gift that my father had, there were plenty of moments of deep, deep, deep intuitive knowing and plenty of moments of soul connections. When I was a child and my father was diagnosed with schizophrenia and at the time bipolar 1 and 2 and a plethora of other things, it started this audio track in my head. I was always a kid who could hear crystals, who could tap in with spirit and receive messages, downloads, whatever the spiritual woo girlies call it. I could always do that. But it was clear that whatever my father was locked up for in the institution felt kind of like what I was doing naturally. And so it developed this fear in me that I was going to kind of become like him. And so, very, very quickly, I started to shut down the gift and put it away and did what I call the forgetting, which we all kind of go through in some way or another. But for me, that forgetting was sort of compounded with my mom remarrying and a new family coming together and a new life being built that actually required me not to be so sensitive because my sensitivity was kind of a disruption. So I shut it down. I shoved it as far down as it would go. And as I got a little bit older, that control of the gift, that suppression of the gift, eventually manifested into binging and purging and a full blown eating disorder. And as that evolved, it turned into depression and my own kind of mania, my own kind of issue. And then I got some diagnosis, borderline personality. They gave me the diagnosis of bipolar because my father had it too. And I eventually realized, oh my gosh, I am so deeply unwell. I couldn't keep food or water down because I was binging and purging so much. Went to my doctor and I said, I'm having a problem. And she said, well, it's probably the fact that you don't keep your food down, that you can't keep the water down. And we started the process of getting me into treatment for an eating disorder. And facing that huge, huge issue meant that whatever it was that had been suppressed was about to come to the surface and I was going to have to look at it. And I freaked out. And all the medications that the doctors were trying to give me had been gathered in my apartment, and I took all of the bottles of all of the pills that I didn't want to take, and I swallowed 80 of them at one time and called my brother and said, hey, can you come get my dog? And he came and picked up Rascal and said, I will come and get Rascal if you will call 911. So I did. And I was dead for 11 minutes. And fortunately, they were able to bring me back. And when I came back, I went through years of therapies and treatments and reprogramming my mind to allow the emotion, to allow the gift of being just Jana to manifest. And in that time, I let myself lean in and developed a practice, one that actually changed my life. And it's very simple. And it wasn't the practice of meditation or of astrology or, praying with my crystals or anything weird or woo like that. It was something simple. It was this, my gratitude jar. Every day when I was in treatment, I would write a little love letter to myself. And as you can see, this little jar is quite full, but once upon a time, I was running on empty. And I gave myself permission to feel grateful, grateful for the little things, grateful for my dog, grateful for my family, grateful for the treatment that I was getting, grateful for the metaphysics that I was getting into, grateful for the astrology that I was getting deeper into, grateful for my friends, grateful for the weather, grateful, 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 grateful. And the practice of gratitude led me out of the dark and into the light so that I could allow myself to be just Jana, allow myself to actually navigate through my life with the gift, with the capacity to know that I know that I know when I know, with the ability to hear the crystals and spirit, which of course multiplied by a lot after my suicide attempt. And with practice, I was able to step in and really let myself be sovereignly just Jana. Don't get it twisted. In the moment, it was fucking bullshit. The part of me that was doing the gratitude practice was the most begrudging part of me. I was almost resentful sometimes writing the things that I was grateful for because there were a lot of chaotic things that had already happened in my life. And there were lots of family dynamics and other things, relationships that were creating things that could have been things that I would absolutely not be grateful for. And we hear it all the time, right? Just be grateful, just be grateful, just be grateful. Oh, this terrible thing happened. Well, this other terrible thing didn't happen to you. You're having a bad day. Well, there are children starving in Africa or whatever the thing might be. And that's valid. But this is the hack. Actually, finding the silver lining for things, allowing myself to be like, this fucking sucks. I hate that my whole life is therapy all day long, every day. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like all my friends were getting married and they were starting to have children and build families of their own. And I was like, I'm going to go to therapy. It felt not great, but finding the gratitude for it let me get to a point where all of a sudden I was like, it doesn't matter what terrible thing is unfolding in front of me. There is a lesson. There is an opportunity for me to grow and evolve from this. And we get to the good part. I got to the good part. My life now looks like a beautiful relationship with my biological father, a healthy relationship with my family, deep, loving relationships with so many wonderful friends in my life. And I get to live in a career that I love, where I connect with spirit, connect with my gift, open myself up, and open my mouth for a living. And that only is possible because all of the hard things as they were unfolding and afterwards, the more gratitude I was able to have for those things, the more I was able to live in the light, to live in the gift of what it is to be on the journey. The purpose of life is not death, it's to be alive. It's to be in the journey as it's unfolding, no matter what it looks like. And the more that I stop myself from looking at other people and externalizing my joy, externalizing what my life should look like, but actually going within and asking myself, does this feel good? Am I being reassured from source that this is what is correct? The more that I created that inner authority, the more that I was able to live that life and create a world where I can travel the world and speak my truth and share my gift and be the light as much as I can, and share that oftentimes in the light, there is shadow. There is something that needs to be called out. There is something that absolutely is hiding, lurking, creating the unconscious loop that keeps us stuck and drives us crazy. My fingers are doing the crazy circle because that is what happens. And so gratitude is the interrupter that allowed me to get there. And so this whole show is shifting from not being about the stuff that I'm into, because I'm into a lot of stuff, y'all. I got all kinds of certificates and diplomas and modalities and things that are stuck in my brain because I have a Gemini moon who loves to learn. But it's not about that stuff. It's about being just Jana. It's about being the part of me that knows these things, the part of me that is connected, that is tapped in, that allows that all of the things that have happened, all of the stories, which you'll hear in this show, are the thing that make me, that make me into that stuff and give me the permission to open my mouth, call it out, and pour the light into it. So if you're here and you're listening, then I know that this is touching on something because you came here to be just you too. You came here with gifts. You came here with a knowingness. You came here with an ability. You came here with something to be in service to the world with. And the old world that was built on consumption and exploitation and the darkness that has definitely been in the shadows that is lovingly coming to light now, we think that it's chaotic. But there is silver lining and we get to the good place. So if you are feeling like you are lost in the dark, stick with me because I'm going to keep showing you all the different pathways back to the light, whether it's through astrology or it's through EFT or it's through quantum human design or metaphysics or some other thing that hasn't even been invented yet. It doesn't matter. All roads lead back to the light. And so I'm going to keep guiding us there. I'm going to show you through the practice of gratitude in each episode exactly how you can get back to your silver lining. That might be through solo episodes like this one, or it might be through readings where I actually give you the behind the scenes of what the heck I do as a psychic with my clients for you to see exactly what I'm doing, how I'm reading, and the best way for them to get back to their light so that you can do the same. And by the way, if you are somebody who's like, girl, read me. I want to be on that show. I want to know what the thing is that I'm missing. Apply. Apply in the show notes. The message is there. The form is there for you to apply, to be here, to share your light and see what the thing is that you might be missing in your blind spot that is going to lead you into the light. I'm so excited to put this out to the world and be vulnerable in a way that I never have been before. So if you think you know me, you probably don't. But this show is an opportunity to show you who Just Jana really is. You've just listened to the Just Jana Show. Whether you sat with me through a live reading or just let me talk my shit to camera, I hope something I called out landed for you. Share with me the one thing that shifted or a question you've got in the comments, or send this episode to someone who deserves to stop shrinking their light. If you're enjoying this kind of energetic reprogramming, please like and subscribe. If you want me to read beneath the surface of your life, apply to be a guest and get a live on-air reading at the link in the show notes. I'm Just Jana, and I'll see you next time.